Waiting my turn. All of the L's I took or lessons I learned. Success, it gotta be earned. Tell me why they sleeping on me. On me.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel, and if you're new here, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and jump right into this video. Today guys, I am working with a ventilated mesh dome cap. This is my first time using these caps. You know I've always sewn on the mesh dome cap, so I was really excited about this. I'm just showing you here that I'm using the center line of the cap to line it up with the center line on the canvas head. And then I'm going to take the cap and just pull it down into the measurements. Now, one thing about these caps is that they are made to fit. I showed you in the beginning that I'm using a medium size cap because I'm using a 22-inch circumference. So when you're using a 22-inch circumference or a 22.5 circumference, you want to use a medium head because a medium cap, because that's meant to fit that size. If you're using a small head like a 21 or a 21.5, then you want to use a small cap size. So this is how it looks after I finish pinning it down. And the next thing I'm going to do is just sew down my lace closure. After that, of course, I'm going to start to draw my lines, and then I'm going to show you guys, some little tips that you want to do when you're drawing your lines. So right there where that band is, you don't want to sew that band down because that's where the elastic band, that's where the adjustable band, goes into. So your customer needs to use the adjustable band, so you don't want to sew those holes down. So you want to start your first line right above that. And then the next thing you want to be mindful of is this little strap right here. This is what the adjustable band goes through. So you want to be mindful, you don't want to sew that down either. So I'm making sure that those lines are below it and above it. And then the next line that I'm drawing is going right at the edge of the ear tab. If you can see right there, it's going right at the edge. I'm going to continue to draw the lines above that. So that was pretty much my layout. And then the rest, I just filled in and I just kept it at the inch like I normally do. And there's markers on the cap. If you can, if you look at the cap, you see all these lines and all these markers. Use that as a guide to get your lines even. So on the other side, you can get the lines pretty much in the same place. So your lines are as even as possible. So what I'm showing you here is that there was a little space in the mesh that I wasn't comfortable with. So I wanted to pull it out. I wasn't sure how, and I did come across a couple of videos to help me. So it's very simple. I just take a T-pin and just pinch the mesh onto that ribbon. I'm not touching the plastic at all. I just took some T-pins, pinched out the little space, and that was it. Sewed it down and it was flat and I was comfortable after that. So if you have a little space on the sides, you can definitely do that. And it's so simple and it's really easy to take it out. You might not have any space or you might have a little space. It depends on your measurements. And then I sewed that down and the caps were very, very flat. Moving different than all the rest, cause I'm about doing it different, new vision and no regrets. Man, I used to be a victim, repented of all my. I am working with 2 bundles, so I went ahead and I sewed down one of the bundle. I doubled one of the bundles. Can't control it, but that's life. Yeah, let's spend time more than we spend cash. You only got one life and they do it fast, but all I know you got All right, and then once I finish with this, I'm going to start to sew onto the cap. So now I'm working with the first track, and I've laid it across my bottom line. And when I'm on the mesh, I'm using a zigzag stitch, my regular zigzag stitch that I always use. I'm using it on the mesh. But when I get to the plastic, I don't want to sew on the plastic with a zigzag stitch. So I switch to a straight stitch, and I'm making sure that the needle is going through the top track. And then when I get back over to the mesh, I'm going to switch my needle back to a zigzag, and I'm going to zigzag the ends. Now, if you want to sew the whole track down with a straight stitch, you certainly can. I just felt more comfortable using the zigzags on the ends. I just felt like the way, the tracks would be more secure. And that's how it looks. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the next track. Okay, so I'm doing the same exact thing. I'm zigzagging on the mesh and doing the straight stitch on the plastic, making sure that the needle is going through the top part of the track. And I'm going to do this all the way up. All of the same rules apply. You want to make sure that your cap is laying flat, that everything is straightened out when you're sewing on it. So make sure you're straightening out your cap before you sew on it. You don't want to sew on it wrinkled up. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the same exact thing all the way up, and the same thing, just do the zigzag. When you get to the top, you don't have to do a straight stitch because it's mesh on the top of the cap. You can just do a zigzag stitch all the way, to the closure. And then that was pretty much it. After that, I'm going to show you guys how I removed the plastic. The wig came out really nice. I really love these caps. The cap is very stretchy, and it fits very well. I did try the wig on after I was done, and it fits so well. I really enjoyed the cap. You still get the same, fit that you do with the mesh because the mesh is on the side, while you also have that ventilation in the back. So it was I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. Let me know if you guys ever sewed on one of these caps, or if you use the full ventilated cap, and which one you prefer. So here I'm showing you that I did zigzag one of my tracks. I was zoning out, and yeah, I went across the whole thing with a zigzag. And trust me, you don't want to do that, because I'm going to show you why in a minute. So I'm just going to remove the lace from underneath the closure, and after I do that, I'm going to show you guys how to remove this plastic. So I'm just taking my scissors, and you see the red line that's running down the ribbon. You want to take that, and you want to just take your scissors and start cutting that up to break it up. And then you want to take your tweezers and start to pull that red thread out. So I just did that before I started even taking off the plastic. So I wanted to break that up, and then afterwards the plastic will just come right off. And different caps have different color thread. This one is red, some others are blue, green, whatever color it is on your cap. Just take the scissors and just break it up, cut it, and then take the tweezers and pull them out. Okay, so I've removed that thread, and now I'm going to start breaking up this plastic, and I'm just pulling it apart. And I'm just pulling it out. It's just coming right out. You're going to see that the only plastic that's not coming out is the one that I zigzag. So in order to get that out, I had to take my tweezers and I had to start pulling the plastic through the thread. And I'm going to start doing that in a minute. I was just cleaning up some of the other threads and everything. So now I'm just taking it and I'm pulling it through the thread. And that's how I was able to get it out. It was so annoying, but you know, that's what happens when you zigzag on the plastic. So don't do it. So this is how the cap looks. It's so stretchy and it's so nice, and I was so happy with it. And you know, I'm gonna try to get my customers to switch over to these caps. I did add an adjustable band to it just to give me an extra, you know, security. And I'm going to take this wig and I'm going to lift the color to a brown color, and I'm just showing you here that the inside, look at that, breathable. It gets to my scalp. Ideal. It's a really ideal wig cap, and it's really great for the summer as well. I tried the cap on and I was happy. It fit so well and it laid so well on my head, and I was just adjusting it here. Let me know if you guys prefer these caps over, you know, the spandex dome caps or the regular mesh dome caps. And you know, if you I really want to move my customers to these caps, so let me know if these are the caps that you give your customers, or if you give them options for the other caps. You know, meet me down in the comments. Let's chat. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.